By 2026, production Flutter apps are expected to handle real-time authentication, background synchronization, and complex navigation across multiple platforms simultaneously. The state management pattern you choose for these features locks in your long-term costs. It determines how quickly a new developer can understand the code, how many tests you have to write, and how difficult it will be to add features a year from now. This chart shows the cost of a state bug over time. Development errors are quick fixes, but post-release bugs become exponentially more expensive to patch. For a 10-person team, losing 1 hour weekly wastes 500 hours annually, a $78,000 drain on the budget. The ecosystem has consolidated around 3 primary solutions: Provider, Riverpod, and Bloc. However, beginner tutorials often frame these as simple syntax preferences, masking the deep architectural trade-offs between them. There is no universal best library. Choosing correctly requires matching the tool's specific mechanics to your team size, to your budget, and your project's risk profile. Failing to align your architecture with your actual scale early on often forces a choice between mounting technical debt or a costly late-stage structural pivot. Provider is the historical baseline for Flutter. It was the first major step away from basic stateful widgets and remains the starting point for most newcomers. It works by wrapping Flutter's native inherited widget to pass data down the tree. Because it stays close to Flutter's built-in model, it requires very little setup code. This makes it effective for rapid prototyping or building simple, low-complexity applications where speed is the primary goal. However, Provider relies heavily on build context. As an app grows, this dependency makes state harder to reach from outside the widget tree, often leading to runtime provider not found errors that a more robust system would catch earlier. While it remains a valuable tool for learning the basics, Provider is rarely the recommended starting point for new, complex production apps in 2026. Riverpod 3.0 was designed to solve those scaling issues, straightening out the dependency logic by moving state entirely outside the widget tree. Riverpod's primary advantage is compile time safety, eliminating runtime bugs by catching dependency errors before launch. It efficiently handles asynchronous data through async value, which automatically manages loading, error, and data states. Built-in network retries and caching significantly reduce manual plumbing for API-heavy apps. The trade-off is the requirement for code generation. This adds a build runner step to your development cycle and creates generated files that can make code reviews noisier. For most new builds, these ergonomic benefits outweigh the setup cost, which is why it has become the standard recommendation for a wide range of project types. However, there are projects where developer speed is less important than strict consistency and auditing, specifically in highly regulated industries. Bloc 9.0 enforces strict unidirectional flow. Events enter a central component, are processed, and output a new state. This explicit triggering creates a deterministic audit trail. At scale, this disciplined structure halves state-related bugs by preventing UI logic from leaking into the business layer. The cost is a higher volume of code. Bloc requires you to define separate classes for every event and state before implementing the actual business logic. For a small startup trying to iterate quickly, this structural overhead can significantly slow down the time it takes to ship new features. Bloc isn't built for rapid iteration. It prevents logic decay in large, high-stakes teams where consistency is far more valuable than initial development velocity. Choosing between these options comes down to objective questions. Are you starting a new project? If you're maintaining a stable app built on Provider, the answer is simple: keep using Provider. A total rewrite rarely justifies disrupting a working codebase. If you do need to migrate to Riverpod for better async handling, do it incrementally. Since both frameworks can coexist, you can move one feature at a time without breaking the rest of the app. For new projects, consider your constraints. Are you managing a large team or working in a regulated industry? If yes, Bloc is the logical choice to ensure auditability and consistency. If no, Riverpod 3.0 provides the best balance of speed and safety. The value isn't finding a perfect library. It's choosing a tool that fits your constraints so you can stop debating and focus on moving forward.